Hi students, myself Babita Matthew. Today we are going to discuss about the face presentation. Last class we discussed about the occipito-posterior position and the mechanism. So now we can discuss about face presentation. So face presentation. You can see from this picture. Face presentation. The presenting part is face. Here the presenting part is the face. And the attitude of the fetus shows the complete flexion of the limbs and extension of the spine. So you can see from this picture, this is the complete flexion of the limbs. Limbs are completely flexed and it is flexed and it is flexed to the spine and the head is extended. Okay, that is the fetus complete flexion of the limbs with the extension of the spine is happening. The attitude. There is complete extension of the head so that the occiput is in contact with the back. The head position is the extension. Head is extended. So the occiput, this occiput is contact with the fetal back. So that is the attitude. Then pinometer is the mentum. So the chin is touches the pelvic floor. The chin touches the pelvic brim. So that's why the iliopectineal eminence. So which part? So that's why the denominator is mentum. Then the presenting diameter are the submendobrygmatic 9.5 cm and the bitemporal 8.2 cm. That is the submendobrygmatic is the fetal head. So submendobrygmatic is from the chin to the highest point of the brygma, the center of the brygma, that is 9.5 cm, or bitemporal means the highest point of the sagittal, between the highest point of the sagittal suture, that is a bitemporal. It is reaches the temporal, that is 8.2. This is the presenting diameters. In the face, when the face presentation occurs before labor, it is termed as primary face presentation. So in the pregnancy, it is presented as the before impending the labor. The presentation is face, that is known as primary face presentation. But majority of the face presentation develop during the labor. So from vertex presentation with the occipito-posterior. So instead of flexion, it will happen to the extension. So when instead of flexion, if it is extended, that becomes the face presentation. So if it is during the labor time is happening, that is known as a secondary face presentation. Position. There are 4 positions of face presentation according to the relations of the chin to the left to right sacroiliac joint. This is the right sacroiliac joint. This is the left sacroiliac joint. Or to the left or right iliopubic eminence. This is the iliopubic eminence. That is right or left pubic eminence. So according to this relation of the chin to the pelvis, the position we are usually identified. The face presented result most likely from the complete extension of deflexed head. When the head is deflexed, we already studied in the occipito-posterior position, head is deflexed. So in the posterior position or in the anterior position, if the head is deflexed, it will become deflexed. Okay, if it is deflexed and become extended. So further, if it is extended, that will become the position. That is the further extended, that become, you can see, it is the normal mechanism. The occiput point towards the iliopectineus. If it is it is extended one, and furtherly if it is extended, that will become what is the? It is the face presentation. Okay, so that is deflex head, it will become extended. That is become the vertex presentation. The number of face positions is obtained as follows: is first vertex, that is LOA. If the patient is in LOA, we can see from the mechanism. If it is LOA means it is in the left side. If it is LOA, okay, LOA, if it is extended, what will RMP, okay, right mendo posterior. So if it is extended, that will become RMP. It is the right mendo. You can see from the picture, this is the chin. Okay, so it is extended and the chin touches the right side. This is, you can see. Okay. Once more I will show you. If it is in the, this is left side, so left occipital anterior. Left occipital anterior is normal mechanism. If it is extended, extended, what will happen? This is become chin touches the, here you can see from this baby, chin touches the right sacroiliac joint. So that will become right mendo posterior. Or otherwise, if the baby is in the normal LOA, right occipital anterior. So that is the right iliopectineal eminence. The occiput touches the right occipital anterior position. But when there is extension, you can see from this, if it is extended, what will happen? When it is extended, the chin touches in the, you can see from this, the chin touches the left sacroiliac joint. You can see from this, left sacroiliac joint. So that will become left mendo posterior. Same like that, if the baby is in the posterior position, if it is in the posterior position means the right occipital posterior. If it is extended, it will become what? Left mendo anterior. And if it is in the left occipital posterior, if it is extended, that will become what? Right mendo anterior. This is the positional change usually happens in the occipital position to the mendo posterior position, mendum position. Okay. So I think I are clearly understood about different position. The more commonest position is left mendo anterior. So this is the left mendo anterior. This is the left mendo anterior. That is the chin touches the mendum and anterior position, the iliopectineal iliopubic eminence and the anterior. That is the left mendo anterior is normal position, as the right occipital posterior position is 5 times more common than left occipital posterior, and as a conservation of the face occurs from deflex occipital posterior to left mendo anterior is the commonest. We just now we seen how it become the mendo anterior or mendo posterior. You can see from this picture, this is the right, this is the left. So that is mendo anterior. So this is touches the iliopubic eminence, and this is the mendo posterior, touches the sacroiliac, chin touches the sacroiliac joint. Next we can see the incidence occurring 1 in 500 births the chance of this extension and become posterior mendum. Mendum is the mendum presentation. Next we can see the etiology. First is etiology, fetal causes, that is the congenital malformation, that is anencephaly, goiter, dolichocephalic head, and bronchiocoly. Yesterday we already explained about bronchiocoly, and twist of the cord around the neck, and hypertonicity of extensor group of neck muscles. These are the fetal causes that may furtherly lead to the mendum presentation. Next is the maternal causes, that is multiparity with pendulous abdomen and lateral obliquity of the uterus. Then contracted pelvis, flat pelvis, and pelvic tumors. So these are the etiological factors of the mendum presentation. Next, how can we diagnose the anterior? The abdominal finding inspection, because of S-shaped spine. You can see the spine is like an X shape. It is extended. So this is S-shaped spine. This is extended. You can see from the. So if it is face presentation, how it will become? It is the extended. You can see head and the back is in relation. So because of this S-shaped spine shaped, there is no visible bulging of the flanks cannot be seen. Then on the palpation, the diagnostic features of mento anterior and mento posterior are in the lateral. When we palpate it, the laterally, the limbs are felt at the angle. So we already show you this is the method. So the limbs can be anteriorly palpated in the lateral limb. When we palpate in the lateral side limb, so we can feel the limbs in the anterior. And back is on the flanks. Back can be seen on the flanks and difficult to palpate. The chest is shown anteriorly against the uterine wall. You can see chest is in the uterine wall and mistaken as sometimes we feel like it is soft. That's why we feel like it is the back. That is in the mento anterior lateral limb and mento posterior. So this is mento posterior. So when the mento posteriorly, this is the opposite of anterior. So back is felt on the front and you can see the back is in the front and better palpate only towards the pedalic pole. You can see the pedalic pole because of the extended spine. So because of this extended spine, we can feel the back very easily. Next in the pelvic rib, head seems big and is not engaged. You can see because of this if it is anteriorly. Okay, so that's why head is feel very big, not engaged. And cephalic prominence is on the side walls. You can see which back lies. Okay, where the back lies, the same side you can feel the cephalic prominence. Okay, then groove between the head and the back, there will be groove. Because of this extension, there will be groove between the head and the back is not so that will not, because of this projection there will not be any groove much felt. Okay, so this is the pelvic groove in the mento anterior. The same can be seen in the mento posterior, but the groove is very prominently can see in the posterior. This is the posterior position. So posterior position, in the posterior position you can see the groove very clearly. You can see the groove between the head and the back. And the FHS is directly audible, and because the chest is in front, we can hear the FHS very clearly. Chest part of the front is towards the side of the limbs. That's why we can see the auscultation very clear. But if it is in the like this, because back is inside and this chest portion or back side it is inside and head is deflex. So that's why the effect is not so distinct and is audible on the flanks towards the side of the limbs. We can be. So this is about the diagnostic features in the mento anterior and the mento posterior. Next is the vaginal examination. Fetal parts is high. We cannot see it's nearby. It will be at a high because it is a long curvature. That's why fetal parts that can be seen in the high, and you can see from here. This is normally we can see this it will be very high, and we can feel the soft irregular parts can be seen. When the cervix is fully dilated, we can see the orbit ridges, eyes can be palpated, nose and mouth may be felt. The fetal may be even stuck in the when we palpate because face is here present in part. So when the baby will be stuck in our fingers when we palpate. Sometimes we will be confused that the breech or face, that is when we palpated same like a breech, we can feel like the face because of edematous face. So how to compare with the face and the buttocks is we can feel the soft lips same as in the buttock, but meconium can be seen. But baby, if it is baby's mouth, they will try to suck it. Okay, that will be the difference in the breech and the face. And the management is overall assessment of the case is to be done to know any pelvic adequacy by the clinical pelvimetry and size of the baby and associated complication factors if any, like elderly primary gravida, severe pre-eclampsia, post-cesarean pregnancy and post-maturity. and congenital fetal malformation and position of the mentum. And indication of elective or early cesarean section include contracted pelvis, big baby, associated complication factors. Okay, these are the assessment include. And the vaginal delivery, if the mendo anterior, you can see through this picture, if the mendo anterior, the first stage in uncomplicated cases, a wait and watch policy can be adopted. Labor is conducted in the usual procedure and the special instructions as laid down in the occipito-posterior position are to be followed. And second stage, one should wait for the spontaneous delivery to occur, and perineum should be protected with liberal mediolateral because there may be lot of chance to get the tear. So that's why and will become very difficult to deliver. That's why we have to give the liberal mediolateral episode. In case of delay, we can use the forceps delivery. Then if the mendo posterior, first stage in uncomplicated cases, vaginal delivery allowed with strict vigilance, hoping for the spontaneous anterior rotation of the chin. And the second stage, that is in the mendo posterior, so usually mendo posterior comes in the anterior positions, the mendo posterior, anterior occipital anterior position become the mendo posterior. So the first stage we have to vaginal delivery allows strict vigilance, hoping for the spontaneous anterior rotation of the chin. In the second stage, if anterior rotation of the chin occurs, spontaneous or forceps delivery with the episiotomy is all that is needed. Then in complicated or malrotation, early decision for the method of delivery is to be taken soon after full dilatation of the cervix, and following methods can be employed to expedite the delivery, that is cesarean section, manual rotation of the chin anteriorly followed by the delivery should be done. So this is followed by the forceps delivery can be done. So this is about the mendel or phase presentation. I think all of you are clearly understood, and mechanism will be shown in the video. Thank you once again.